Hello Sagittarius, this is Victoria and I'm here with your December tarot forecast. As always, we'll be looking at your love life, your career and workspace, and we'll get you some guidance on how to best navigate the energy of the months of December. At the end, I'll post some messages from your person of interest to yourself. And of course, we'll begin with a quick oracle card, so I'm gonna get started on that right away. These readings are for Sun, Moon, and Rising Sagittarius, so if you're watching this for your sun sign, first of all, happy birthday, and second of all, you may want to check readings for your other placements. All right, without further ado, there's of course a lot of information about my content and my services in the description box. Your card for this month is the Sage. Be devoted and committed. This is like an equivalent of a hermit card, really. Right, and sometimes it's a little hard for Sagittarius to do because you're so outgoing and outward looking, right? You have a big vision and you want to run with that vision most of the time. So this is very much a different energy. This is more about, okay, you picked your goal, your vision, whatever it is that is of the highest priority for you right now. And now it's time to really roll up your sleeves and put in the effort. We just had Mercury and Saturn turn direct, which means, of course, that this is a time when we are supposed to create new experiences with all the wisdom, all the lessons that we've recently learned. And of course, later in the month, we'll have winter solstice, so that will be another big milestone where after which the day, at least in the northern hemisphere, the day is going to become start getting longer, right? And right now we're still into the time, and like for 3 weeks in December, this is like the darkest time of the year, basically. And it does suggest that phase of hibernation, of staying in, of maybe doing a little less outside because it's cold, and really focusing on what is it that you have going on in a more intimate space of yours, whether it's just you or maybe your closest circle, maybe the place where you live, you name it. But there's something in that area that really needs your dedication, your commitment, your focus. All right, let's get to the main read. We already have the first card. Look at that, we're starting your reading with 10 of Pentacles. This is a perfect card to begin with, I would say. So this is for your love life and personal space. 10 of Pentacles, Knight of Cups, and 4 Wands. Wow. Sounds like a love jackpot, to be honest, but we'll talk about it in a minute. Then for your career space, you have 2 of Pentacles. You have the Star. And you have 8 of Wands. By the way, speaking of major arcanas, the Star is an Aquarius card. You could be dealing with an Aquarius. And then finally, messages from the universe. We have 8 of Pentacles. We have 3 of Swords. And 10 of Wands. Very interesting. I mean, right off the bat, when we see the Temperance at the bottom of the deck, I can see that there's been something in the last phase, in the recent past, that has been a big challenge or a big burden on you, right? It raised a lot of questions of existential level, like how you live your life, why are these things happening to you? But it's been tough one way or the other. No matter what kind of conclusions you drew, it was a tough time. And now you're moving on to something lighter, to something bigger and better, because you were able to process those emotions, those feelings, and be able to leave certain pain behind, right? Certain fear behind. And by the way, for that, you don't necessarily even need, I mean, we talk a lot about, when we talk about closure and release, we talk about forgiveness, we talk about seeing the miracle and the blessings and what happened to you, even if it's in your opinion, negative experience. But more than anything, it's important to process the feelings and emotions. Even if at the end of the day, it remains a dark moment or dark time of your life or something, right? Once you acknowledge that and show yourself and other people involved compassion on what's happened, how it's impacted lives, you will be able to move on. And that's where this opportunity for the new happiness is located, right? It's like you become lighter, you naturally raise your vibration. As long as you're able to put that old experience behind you and not get hung up too much on like why and what and how can I make sure this never happens again. I've asked that question so many times myself, I can't even tell you, I lost count. But now it's a lot more like, okay, I actually appreciate that experience and I don't hold it against other people. Sometimes it takes a minute to forgive certain events, but I'm never seeing this as like, oh, this person wanted to hurt me, or they were out to get me, right? Like, no, I don't live in that frame of reference, and it helped me so much to live through that phase of transformation, which we, by the way, saw a lot in the cards during Scorpio season. So for your love life, you see 10 of Pentacles, the Knight of Cups, and the 4 of Wands. So something really beautiful is coming into the picture. This could be a new person, this could be someone that you've already been dating, or at least know, maybe it's a friend, It's definitely taking on a life of its own and becomes something really, really special. Even if you're not ready, at least one of you or both of you, to say, I do and go to the altar and get married, at the very least, it's that moment of like, I'm so grateful for you in my life, and I hope we'll always be in each other's life, that kind of vibe. I know for some of you who are waiting for a romantic love story, that kind of killed it for a moment. But look at that, we have Knight of Cups. Look at this beautiful card with like the image of heart that she's using as a musical instrument, like a harp. Come on, there's plenty of romance here, plenty of beauty. It just, I would say, don't ruin that magical energy by looking at it from a perspective of like, well, I was actually expecting a proposal and this person did all like different good things, right? And we are actually doing really well, but there was no proposal, so there's no fairy tale, right? Like, don't make it that rigid. And if anything, we're out of the gate with Mercury retrograde. Technically, December is still, for the most part, a shadow period after that. So still a bit of a tender time, but it's important if you feel like this person is not really, that they need to up their game, or they don't really invest in this relationship, or don't feel like they're committed. It's important to raise the subject. And there's a good chance that you'll be surprised that they don't really see it that way. That in their world, they are 100% committed, right? They're already planning, where to get a house with a good school district or something. And you're like still obsessing about, like, they haven't popped the question yet, right? And they have a much bigger picture in mind, even beyond, signing a piece of paper. For your career space, have a cat nearby, by the way, so we'll see what happens. Usually he's not really interested in the cards, but he's close. So for your career space, you have 2 of Pentacles, the Star, and the 8 of Wands. There are lots of opportunities on the table at this time. It's very important to understand how are you making that decision, and have you made it clear to your colleagues, to your superiors, to your clients on what is it that you're looking for in your career? What do you aspire to? What is your dream come true working day? Whether it's your own business or you're working for someone else, right? Maybe do that exercise and create that vision for yourself. What would be healing to the soul? What would get you out of bed in the morning, even like against all odds, when you're not feeling great, when you're tired or hungover or sick, or it's, I don't know, crazy weather outside, but you still want to go to the office because ... Why? Right? And like narrow down on that, and it will be a lot easier to then focus on that, as we were just looking at it with a Sage card at the beginning, right? You'll be able to really lock that in and focus on it instead of trying to be everywhere, do everything, save the day, and, you know, help others get to their better tomorrow. Now, the message from the universe. 8 of Pentacles, 3 of Swords, and 10 of Wands. It's been tough before. It felt like you were putting in a lot more work than the other person, whether it's personal or professional relationship. But things are changing. Things are looking up now. It's very important not to be in that hurt or tired or bitter state. So whatever you need to do to get yourself out of it, please do it. And I know it's easier said than done. It seems like, of course, yeah, why don't I do that? But it is important. And of course, this is a collective reading, so it's hard for me to capture all of the different scenarios. But it's important to understand why it's bothering you if it does, and how can you find peace, how you can reconcile it. And of course, there are so many techniques you can use depending on what your preferences are, in mindfulness, in religion, in the kind of methods that you use. You can look it up online. I would mention the word forgiveness here, that if you feel like you made a big mistake that cost you a lot, or someone else you feel like let you down and you had to pay a big price for it, or you wanted you to help and, you know, you did your best, you sacrificed and it ended badly. What I would say is the most important part is to show compassion and to forgive. Express that forgiveness to everyone involved. And if you, for some reason, don't have the guts to talk to them, at least do it on your own terms, in your own time, you know, kind of, even if it's just you. Because remember, there is this hermit mode, there's the sage mode where you don't really need other people to find that healing energy and to relieve yourself of certain burden and baggage. Okay, last but not least, let's get Sagittarius messages from their person of interest. What does Saggy need to know right now? Okay, we've got Queen of Wands, King of Cups. Very interesting, right? Fire and water. I mean, for one, you could be dealing with a water sign, of course, and that will be Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. But also what it tells me is that your person definitely, what's interesting is that this is a masculine figure in the card, but it is of the feminine element of water. And this is a feminine figure in the card, but it is of the masculine element of fire. Very interesting, right? And it's like there is no perfect recipe, or you can't expect the person to be exactly the same on every day of their life, right? We transition, we shift between the elements, between our masculine and feminine expression. But this person definitely sees that you two are kind of on par with each other, you know, that you're on that level of mastery. Because the king and the queen are both masters of their suit. And the fact that you're so different but kind of intertwining with each other, it's like it serves, like that's how you get the best out of each other. You know, you inspire each other to do your best. And the person is also saying that they're still learning to respect that contrast, that difference from what they're used to or what they've been thinking, you know, the vision even that they have for the future. And they're always amazed at how much sense it makes, what you have to bring to the table, who you are, what you do in your life. It just takes them a moment to kind of get their head around it and get on board. But they hope, that scared me. They hope that you're in it for the long run, and that just as them, that you have that 100% commitment and you find this sophisticated tapestry in your relationship inspiring, invigorating, and even thrilling. Very cool message to end the reading. I'm gonna end it here. Thank you so much for joining me, Sagittarius. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel. And until next time, bye.